Now at 5. Breaking news. A deadly shooting at Old Dominion University.
We started running, and that's when we heard, gunshots.
Tonight, live team coverage uncovering what we know about the incident that left at least 2 people hurt and 2 dead, including the gunman.
F13 News now at 5 begins with breaking news in Norfolk. A person is dead and 2 others are hurt after an on-campus shooting at Old Dominion University. I'm Janet Roach.
And I'm Dana Smith. According to ABC News, the suspect is a former Army National Guard member. Mohamed Jalloh was convicted 10 years ago of attempting to provide material support to ISIS. We have live team coverage of the breaking developments tonight. So let's start with Derek Lytle with an emotional response from authorities. Derek.
Yeah, that emotional response in the press conference in the education building that we were a part of, FBI members, police chiefs from Norfolk and campus, as well as school leadership, all in there while you could hear a pin drop, the heavy emotion weighing down that room. Now, I asked ODU's police chief, how do you look a student or a parent in the eye that's in fear right now and tell them there's a safe way forward? And he says, in this cynical world we live in, we do everything we can to keep your child safe. According to sources familiar with the matter, the shooter Mohamed Jalloh, a former member of the Army National Guard and previously convicted of attempting to provide material to support ISIS, walked into a room at Constant Hall and asked if this was an ROTC class and then shot several times. ODU President Brian O. Hemphill calling it a traumatic day that will never be forgotten.
To say the least, today was a tragic day for the campus of Old Dominion University.
3 people were hurt in the shooting, 2 critically. 1 has passed away at the hospital. The shooter was found dead on scene by police.
Our campus and our community have been truly shaken and forever impacted by this senseless act of violence.
An emotional ODU chief of police, Garrett Shelton, reflecting on the safety of students moving forward, saying he and his department lay their lives on the line for students, and they are devastated by this shooting.
Every one of these kids are my kids. And I treat them the same way and protect them the same way as I would my own children that are away at college.
He says he resonates with parents living in fear of this type of violence every day.
I get it because I have a child who's about 3 hours, 11 minutes, and 30 seconds too far away from me. So I completely get it.
Derek, if you don't mind, I'd like to follow up on your question.
Norfolk Commonwealth's attorney Ramin Fadahi adding to this conversation he believes this shooting came from a dark place, and it is the fault of lawmakers not pushing for more gun control he calls necessary.
If you're looking for somebody to blame, don't look at anybody up here. Look at our lawmakers who don't have the courage to implement sensible gun control measures. Look to a Supreme Court that enables them and do something about it.
Fadahi thinks these type of gun-related tragedies will continue to happen unless change is brought to the table.
Let's mourn the people who have died. Let's decry what has happened, but let's keep the focus where it belongs. It belongs on us and having to change something so that we don't have to suffer through this.
Now, there were several questions asked during the presser about metal detectors and their use. Those detectors, leadership for schools saying they're used for events, but not on a daily basis currently. In Norfolk, Derek Lytle, 13 News Now.
All right, thank you so much for that update, Derek. And the name of the person who has died has not been released as officials work to notify family. The university closed today and will remain closed tomorrow. FBI Director Kash Patel says the agency is investigating the shooting as an act of terrorism. He says the shooter is now deceased thanks to a group of brave students who stepped in and subdued him. Actions that undoubtedly saved lives, along with the quick response of law enforcement.
Students are holding each other closer tonight. Layla Cox has been following this situation since the moment the university issued a run, hide, fight alert. And she joins us live with reactions from the ODU campus.
Yeah, that's right, Jane and Dana. What started off as a normal Thursday for Old Dominion University students preparing for spring break to come, preparing for their last few finals of this semester, drastically changed when they received that first Old Dominion University campus alert a little bit before 11 a.m. that there was a threat to the campus and that they needed to take shelter. Now, this video on your screen is going to show you what how big of a police presence it was earlier today at Old Dominion University's campus from several agencies, both local, state, and federal. Not only was there Old Dominion University Police, but Norfolk Police. We've seen Portsmouth Police, Virginia State Troopers, Virginia State Police, and as well as you've heard, we've had the FBI investigators here as well, trying to figure out exactly what happened. Now, I've spoken with several students over the course of the past few hours that say that they were either in the classroom during their midterm or waiting to get that okay to go into their classroom for that midterm that unfortunately didn't take place today because of the tragedy that happened on campus. Now, we're going to hear from two students today. One of them was in the middle of their midterm when something didn't seem quite right, and another one who said their family member was on campus at the time and they were just about to head over to their midterm when they got that alert that they needed to stay away from Old Dominion University.
And I was getting ready to go to the web where it was first alerted where the active shooter was. And then I saw a bunch of people running from there. So as like a whole natural response, I started running as well.
And when that happened, my heart kind of sunk a little because that's like family right there to me. I was just praying that nothing happened as long as with other students on campus. And I'm glad there's no deaths in the situation of victims. And I'm praying that each and every victim has a full recovery and everything goes good for the rest of their time here, and that hopefully they can find some type of way to cope with this.
Now, of course, what you just heard from Mr. Jamal Johnson, that last that student that you heard from, was before we got the confirmation that a person has passed away, one of the victims of the tragedy that took place at Old Dominion University. And paint a picture of what he's been saying about that recovery effort. Several students that I've spoken with say that they hoped classes would be canceled, and the Old Dominion University leaders heard them. And classes will not take place tomorrow, but several mental health counsel services will be provided to students, staff, and faculty just in the aftermath of the tragedy that took place here today at the Old Dominion University campus. But for now, live in Norfolk, I'm Layla Cox, 13 News Now.
Thank you, Layla. That student's remarks were so thoughtful. Thank you for that update. And a family information center is open in the Big Blue Room at Chartway Arena until 10 o'clock tonight. Counseling support is available at Broderick Dining Commons. ODU will be closed tomorrow.